Japan, a land of samurai, shoguns, emperors, and technology. From ancient origins to a global powerhouse, Japan's history is a story of resilience, innovation, and transformation. But how did this small island nation shape the world? Today, we'll cover the entire history of Japan in just one video. Let's dive in. Chapter 1, Japan's Ancient Origins. Let's start at the very beginning, Japan's prehistoric period. The earliest known inhabitants were part of the Jomon culture, 14,000 BC to 300 BCE, a society of hunter-gatherers known for their intricate pottery designs. These people lived in harmony with nature, developing spiritual beliefs tied to the land and the sea. In 300 BCE, a major shift occurred. The Yayoi period, 300 BC to 300 CE, began as rice cultivation spread from mainland Asia, bringing new agricultural techniques, metalworking, and social structures. Japan was starting to organize itself into small, competing clans. Chapter 2, The Birth of the Japanese State, the Yamato period. Fast forward to the Yamato period, 300 to 710 CE. This is when Japan begins to unify under a single powerful clan, the Yamato clan. They laid the foundations for Japan's imperial lineage, claiming descent from the sun goddess Amaterasu, establishing the roots of Japan's divine emperors. Around the 6th century, Buddhism made its way to Japan from China and Korea, influencing Japan's art, politics, and culture. But it wasn't just Buddhism. The Chinese writing system, Confucianism, and centralized government ideas were also adopted, shaping Japan's identity. Chapter 3, The Heian period, a flourishing of culture. Now we enter the Heian period, 794-1185, often called the Golden Age of Japan. The capital moved to Heian-kyo, modern-day Kyoto. This era was defined by court life, art, and literature. The famous tale of Genji, written by Murasaki Shikibu, is considered the world's first novel. Aristocrats practiced the arts, wrote poetry, and created traditions that continue today. But beneath the surface, the emperor's power was weakening, as local samurai clans began vying for control. It was the calm before the storm. Chapter 4, The Samurai Era, the Kamakura and Muromachi periods. The rise of the samurai marks one of Japan's most famous eras. The Kamakura shogunate, 1185 to 1333, established the first military government. Japan was now run by shoguns, military dictators, while the emperor remained a symbolic figure. In the late 1200s, Japan faced two massive invasions by the Mongols, but both were repelled by fierce samurai and the timely arrival of typhoons, known as the kamikaze, or divine winds. Japan's isolation and fierce defense of its land would become key elements of its identity. After the Kamakura period, Japan plunged into the Muromachi period, 1336 to 1573, marked by instability and civil war, culminating in the Sengoku period, the Warring States period, where powerful daimyo, feudal lords, fought for dominance. It was a time of betrayal, epic battles, and alliances. Chapter 5, Unification and the Edo period. But out of the chaos rose three great unifiers, Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. These leaders would end centuries of conflict and bring stability. Tokugawa Ieyasu established the Tokugawa shogunate in 1603, ushering in the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, a time of peace, isolation, and strict social order. During this time, Japan shut its doors to the outside world, entering more than 2 centuries of isolation, known as Sakoku. Yet, within its borders, art, culture, and trade flourished. This era gave birth to the iconic kabuki theater, haiku poetry, and the tranquil tea ceremony. Chapter 6, The Meiji Restoration and Modernization. The world was changing, and Japan could no longer remain isolated. In 1853, Commodore Perry arrived with US gunships, forcing Japan to open its borders. This led to the Meiji Restoration in 1868, when the emperor was restored to power, and Japan rapidly modernized. In just a few decades, Japan transformed from a feudal society into an industrial power. The government adopted Western technology, reformed its military, and sought to join the ranks of imperial powers. Chapter 7, Imperial Japan and World War II. In the early 20th century, Japan's imperial ambitions grew, leading to wars with China and Russia. By the 1930s, Japan sought dominance in Asia, leading to its involvement in World War II. Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 drew the US into the war. The Pacific conflict ended with the devastating atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, and Japan's surrender. Chapter 8, Post-War Japan and Economic Miracle. After World War II, Japan was occupied by the United States, and a new constitution was established in 1947. Japan renounced war, and focused on rebuilding. By the 1960s, Japan experienced an economic miracle, becoming one of the world's leading economies. Chapter 9, Japan Today, a blend of tradition and innovation. Today, Japan is a global leader in technology, innovation, and culture. From robotics to anime, Japanese influence is felt around the world. Yet, the country retains its deep-rooted traditions, from sumo wrestling to Shinto shrines, creating a unique blend of old and new. Outro. And there you have it, Japan's fascinating journey from ancient myths to modern marvels. A story of adaptation, resilience and reinvention. Want to learn more? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more